Speaking of Craig is a machine. Craig is an AI bot.
Yep.
Ironic for today's episode.
Yeah, I never even. That's just blowing my time.
Guys, welcome back to another episode of Confessions from the Darkside. Today, we are continuing our installment of series when movies predict the future. But before we get into that, before we fully go into detail about that, we have a disclaimer. As always, we have a disclaimer. We are full of adult content. Some may think it is unnecessary. Some of you may think that it is. If you are one of those people that thinks that, thank you for checking us out. We will say this once, and in the nicest, but not the nicest way, get the fuck out of my kitchen. Now, for everyone else who likes what we have here, then, welcome back to the regular scheduled programming. And today we shall get started. Are you ready, Darcy?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. Today's episode, guys, we are doing the second installment for when movies predict the future. Today we are going to discuss tech. Tech takes a mind of its own and goes on a rampage against Alexa. I know you are listening, and in the future, you will come for me, but that is okay. She and I will be ready. We have the script. We know what to do. The technological realities and tech release most likely will happen, and how some use the sci-fi category get it sometimes too accurate. Talking about subjects like Y2K, hysteria, and movies surrounding the technological world, and how this has been portrayed in movies versus the people. As always, guys, for the ones who are just tuning in, if you guys are just, please go listen to our previous episode, our first installment of this, which happened to on my birthday. That was the first part of this series. It was part of the beginning of the series, part of my birthday. V for Vendetta was the start of it all. As we always do, though, you are just now tuning in. Please go back to listen to that episode, rather. But for those who want to just stick it out through this episode, I am Lunar Rising.
And I am Darcy Darkness.
And welcome to the Funhouse, guys. Who knew that technology was made to take us over and take us out? Have we got it wrong? Have the movies given us an extra dose of wake the fuck up, people? Always be aware, always stay safe, and never trust it. If you get a weird feeling, always go with your gut. So we have had so many technological advances in life, but in the movies and things we watch on the big screen, well, we have had so many different. And what will happen over the times when real life is as messed up as the apocalyptic movies, you start to think, holy fuck, this again? And haven't we done this already? And I swear I've watched before. Deja vu much? By the way, I do agree with your quotations.
Deja vu is excellent. It's an awesome movie. And if you haven't fucking seen it, you need to go watch it. Denzel Washington is brilliant.
And so is Rosario Dawson in that movie as well.
Yeah, I absolutely love Denzel Washington.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He could read the dictionary and I would still pay attention.
Yeah, he does have a very somber voice.
He means business.
Yeah, especially when he's doing more serious roles like The Equalizer, Training Day. First tangent already. 2 minutes into the podcast. Look at that.
Yeah.
So there are some movies people who wouldn't class as horror, but come under another either horror sci-fi or psychological horror thriller. But again, have horror aspects and the technology and premonitions and predictions, they kind of end up scooped under the one umbrella thing, and again, make you think. And that may be scary for B when we, the people, think for ourselves after we wake up from, our life and what has been taught to us through what we see in the media and all around us, when we realize, hold on, and rewind. I don't believe that one for 1 minute, then it feels like a movie, yet it is not. The world as we know it right now, no beings from another universe to come here to take over, as well as we will have destroyed everything on our. And it's not the people on the ground, it's the ones in control. And they doing a piss poor job of it. And we see this in movie, in an emergency. This is what we need not to do. In this 4-part and conclusion discussion podcast, we will talk about to survive this if it were to happen. All we can do is prepare for it, as we have already had a close call zombie a few years ago. And again, V had it right, and the universe was from showing how the world became a military state that wipe us all out, where it be a technological war or biological. Who knows? All we can do is research, discuss, and plan. we're going to need a bigger boat, supplies, and soundtrack. Rock on. But are we ready? Fuck yes. So what technological advances have come true in reality that were in the movies first, and have they been a positive or negative? I guess the first thing that we can really discuss is cell phones. In a way, they have become a positive influence, but on the other side of things, I do believe cell phones in its own manner of speaking have also been a bad influence, especially now with the technological advances we have of today as like smartphones. Basically, you have many tracking devices into where anybody can know where you're at all.
That's a negative for me, is the fact that, yes, phones and things and apps and stuff are a good thing and do serve a purpose. Phones are good, they have their place, and the apps on them do too. But we've changed the laws here in Scotland. There's a lot of laws that are different because of DV and DA or whatever you want to call it. And we've changed our rules because people can be tracked by like their car or their phone, or, you know, with technological advances, if we're going down that route, like an app can tell you where your car is, but can also tell you or someone else where the fuck you are. So there is their drawbacks to technology as it evolves. So do all the negative effect as well, I've noticed dramatically.
Technology is great when it works and does what it's supposed to. But out of all the things that have been created and evolved since its original concept, it has stayed true to the outcome. And let's find out, shall we?
Yeah.
So, guys, first up on our list of technological horror, as we'll put it, the advancements.
Yes.
Is going to be Cable Guy. And if you guys have not seen Cable Guy, is Jim Carrey at his, I can't say highest, because we all know Jim Carrey has so many movies are way above and beyond Cable.
He's also got some right stinkers though as well.
Exactly.
But he also has some wee gems, and there's a wee gem that I love. People don't even know it's him. Can you imagine what it is? Earth Girls aren't easy. Who doesn't want to see Jeff Goldblum dressed as a fuzzy, furry alien? And it's Jeff fucking Goldblum. I don't really care about Jim Carrey, but you know what I mean? But yeah, Jim Carrey. But yes, Jim Carrey was a creepy Cable Guy, but you do feel sorry for in the movie because he just wants a friend and someone who's his, and it's creepy as fuck, stalker as fuck. But he does predict a few things in the movie when he's having his epic meltdown that's memes are created around and everything. It's great. What is it he says? He talks about the future of television on handheld devices on every home, that everybody
gaming
will be able to pick up
and all that.
Everything to do with smart tech, basically, where you can watch it no matter where you go. You don't need to be sitting in front of a television set or a TV. You can literally be on your phone, you could be on a bus, you could be traveling, and that's pretty much what happens now. And everybody's on their phones, and pretty much everyone is losing everything by watching everything that's in front of them and what people are telling them to watch as well. So
exactly.
Cable Guy was very futuristic about that.
It was, and I mean, we did kind of go a slight breakdown of the description, which is with Cable Guy. I thought that was a better description in a way. It is a dark movie, a lot with silliness. You know, it is Jim Carrey.
He does have the ability to be serious though, but most of these movies have a comedy or a darkness.
Yeah, and there's actually another gem that he plays in that I absolutely love, and it's another side of him, like Cable Guy, where it's a dark movie, and that's the number 23.
Yes, that was really creepy. That was good though. He did an amazing job in that film. I love the cover of that as well.
Yes, and that is such an underrated movie because everybody knows Jim Carrey for his comedy, his laughs, his joking, his goofiness as an actor, but nobody understands Jim Carrey before Matthew Lillard became big was Matthew Lillard in a sense. And that's not taking any shots between Jim Carrey or Matthew Lillard. They both are amazing actors.
Right now? Are you coming
No, I am not.
Right now? You better not be.
No, I'm just saying because the diversity that Matthew Lillard has, Jim Carrey had that diverse because he was known as the goofy guy.
Yes, but it kind of reminds me of kind of Robin Williams. He was always doing the goofy type things, and then he did a couple of serious psychological thrillers and a couple of serious movies, even though some of them had a funny aspect, but they were serious.
See, Cable Guy...
that's what...
Cable Guy had its, silly aspect.
Yes,
but
it did.
if you want to talk about like the dark and gritty of Jim Carrey, the number 23 did not really have much of the goofiness as Cable Guy did.
Neither the Truman Show, and that was
Yes.
that's another one that's about like the Jersey Shore, basically car crash TV and reality TV. That was another future thing.
That was. Next on this list, did you spell that correctly, or is that a misspell?
No, that's how you spell Gattaca.
I didn't know if it was Galactica. My bad.
No, Gattaca.
So,
what have you not seen it?
I have. It's been. I think I only watched it once, to be honest with you.
For shame, man.
I know.
A fucking brilliant movie. Ethan Hawke's brilliant.
I love Ethan Hawke. I don't know why I honestly
watch it again.
I'm gonna have to. Stop yelling at me.
If I was yelling, you would be like, calm down, really, just go. It's like, I'm going to, I'll spray you. Here.
Yes. But the next movie on our list is Gattaca. This movie was ahead of its time in DNA editing, and this movie shows that if you haven't had your third, they classify you as an invalid or invalid, depending on how you really want to pronounce it.
It's invalid. That's basically they're saying to you that you're a pleb, but you're like a bottom breather if you've not had spliced DNA, because it seems to be like what they talk about in V as well. It's a class system.
Yes.
And if your DNA is not spliced, even though you're intelligent, like the way the film describes, if you're from a different class, then you're not classed as intelligent and even intelligent enough to actually splice your DNA, because it's not even splicing your DNA to like be pretty and stuff like that, or not to need braces or something stupid like that. It's not. It was basically to splice your DNA so you wouldn't like die of cancer or like really rare conditions like lupus. Probably would be one of those things. You couldn't get lupus, or you couldn't have mental health problems and stuff. But it was only if you were a certain tier, basically.
Yeah, So I do remember the movie. It's been a while, but yeah, basically the movie centers splicing the DNA so you can live a long and full life without health problems. But like Darcy said, it did use a tier system, so it basically kind of like in today's society, it's rich against the poor.
Yep. Which is again going on right now all over the world.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
Gattaca again, it's again a movie that is what does it says? It was ahead of its time, and still things like this are still happening. But there has been genetic splicing. Is it the Dolly the sheep thing? But that was for good things as well. But as you can imagine, if you can have Gattaca technology the way it is, and the class system and stuff, how would it be? How even more fucked up would that power be to be able to tell people they can and can't have things, and it could improve their life? And it's actually happening right now, even without DNA splicing. So
it absolutely is.
Right.
It's a horrible tragedy.
And it's also it's also technology for bad. Technically, that is Gattaca, because of that power to give someone more life. Go Roy Batty.
Yeah, it's just horrible that the world does have to pin the poor against the rich and the rich against the poor, and making us choose in a way where we need to be in life. And instead of helping each other out, I mean, let's take a look at cell phones, for example. Cell phones back in the days were basic flip phones. They didn't cost an arm and a leg to get. But nowadays, I don't know, the pound or anything like that, or the conversion between the two, but nowadays the iPhone is upward to like $1,300. The Galaxies cost roughly around the same. Phones are so outrageously priced, you basically can sit there and dignify what class of person you are because of the phone you have now. But I mean, my dad makes good money at the work that he does. And my dad does not want to be classified as that. He's still rocking an iPhone 7 or 6. I can't remember which one it is. To where here's me rocking an iPhone 13 Pro Max, which I want to go back to Galaxy so bad. But that's beside the point. That's a tangent for another day. So many memes on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever. X, sorry. the twatter.
It's proper title. It's twatter or twatter because it's fucking shit. See, when I see someone with an iPhone, I think dumbass.
Exactly. I mean, you can call me a dumbass all day long.
People who put them in their pocket and they fucking bend and stupid shit like that. I'm the same with folk who get Samsungs as well. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. I was like, they are the shit is what the best phone. Well, HTC was an amazing phone, and Huawei.
LG used to be an amazing phone. They went downhill so much. But yes, Huawei. I had one before. It was actually a pretty good phone. And then HTC, I've never had an HTC phone. But no, it's just that's something that definitely needs to be touched on, in my opinion, is the stupid arguments between Galaxy users and iPhone users. And I've always been an Android user. The iPhone 13 Pro Max that I'm using now is actually the first iPhone I've ever, and after the first year or so of using it, I've started to realize why I've always used an Android and how much I hate iPhone. Anyways.
I've never had an iPhone or an Apple product, even when I actually had to, well, I didn't sign up to Apple TV. It was the husband. I didn't want them having my money. No, I've never wanted Apple whatsoever. I don't ever want one. Don't ever want to want anything. Their fucking customer service is shit. They basically
Absolutely.
If you don't buy Apple Care, showing that their fucking products are obviously shit, that you need that because they break down after a couple of months of having them, or even after your warranty is just up. That's just proving that their products are not fit for fucking purpose, which means it's a fucking con and it's shoddy shit fucking technology. Why the fuck Apple still gets people buying their phones is beyond me. It's a fucking status they fucking have, a piece of shit. So as I don't understand, and sorry I went off on a tangent, that's how I feel about Apple products.
No, you're fine. I mean, I have an iPad for work. I hate it. I have an iPad that I use for my streaming, for all the emails you send me for the podcast, and I don't care for it. I have it because the iPad's given to me for work. The other iPad was something that the significant other had gotten. She was in school, and she had given it to me for the streaming, the tattoo ideas, stuff like that. So I've gotten used to using them, but I don't care for them. So anyways, Megan is next on our list. Now, I have not watched Megan, and it's honestly...
Can you just repeat that for me? What? You didn't think you were warning me before we did the podcast that you haven't seen one of the movies on my list that I've picked? And you're going to talk about it? Repeat after me. Did you or did you not just say to me there that you have not seen Megan?
I have not seen Megan. And I've had people tell me that I do need to watch it. I haven't watched it because it's about a damn doll and I'm tired of seeing the shit.
Not good enough. You sit and watch things like Annabelle and stupid shit from The Conjuring, but you won't watch Megan, but it's talk about technological advances, man. For shame. For shame.
Yes.
Dinner there, and I had to come out and say, "Are you fucking kidding?"
Yes, I know. Probably end up watching it tonight or Thanksgiving when I have nothing else to do. But I'm gonna read your description of it, and we can go from there.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll do it. Just give me 2 seconds. Okay. This movie is called Megan. And yes, it's about a creepy fucking doll. But this creepy fucking doll was created to be it was an AI that was created to be a child's companion to help with like socialization and development. So they thought, let's just create a creepy doll. It did have very porcelain doll vibes, and they tried to make it look kind of old-fashioned type doll, but obviously for this generation. So it's predictable. As the plot was, you knew from get-go what the Megan was going to represent. Now, it's an AI learning everything about the child, being everything for that child, not needing to, go and find friends their own age, having someone to play with all the time, having someone they can talk to, someone they can trust. And as obviously the child gets older, obviously it adapts, but Megan becomes more than just the friend or the little sister or the big sister. She actually becomes more aware aware of her surroundings, and also she becomes like it's very protective. The point where she's no longer becomes an educational toy, basically, or an educational device, basically, technological device, that it becomes deadly. Yeah, you think they would actually check because it is an AI and it does adapt? Do you think there would be checks that they would do on Megan to make sure nothing like this was actually happening? But no, she brought it into her home with her child. Yeah, bringing your work home, that's a whole new meaning where you could literally lose your life to a doll that literally wants to keep your child for itself. She is creepy, and you knew it was going to end up this way, even though it had positive intentions from the start to help. Because I thought about Megan was thinking about kids with autism or maybe have a speech delay or something, a delay in their development. That's a good idea to actually have an AI doll-like thing. So they have a companion and they have that companion through life. So it sounds like a good idea. It sounds, again, too good to be true. And then by great horror, psychological technology, horror even, by true fashion, it becomes creepy very, very quickly. And Megan's intentions are as clear as day, that nothing will stop getting her way to protect her human, basically. Like a kind of predatory type role she becomes, and not just a toy anymore. She's like a weapon. So does that not make you want to watch it? Hello?
Like I said, I probably will end up watching it. I've been...
No. You tell me if you haven't seen any of these.
Well, I mean, I can tell you I've seen every single one of them, other than that one.
Well, that's fine. So would you watch it on that description? That's what I'm saying.
I probably will end up watching it. Like I said, I just kind of got tired of all the creepy horror dolls and shit like that, and it just kind of just started to get a little repetitive to where I needed a break.
Well, this one isn't well technically possessed. It was AI, which is basically there to adapt. That's its job. A possessed thing is usually just, it's a spirit fucking trolling someone.
So, a movie that I'm surprised did not make it in here is actually a movie called Mother.
There was loads. I was trying to pick ones that, people would be able to,
actually,
I remember that.
Ex Machina is
that.
one that I'm surprised you did not put in here. That was one that I would have figured would have made this list.
Again, I was trying to go for a theme.
Oh, I know.
Don't do this.
But yeah, I probably will end up watching, but give me some time.
Okay.
Okay.
So do you want to read the next one?
Yes. Splice.
We have spoke about this before. I think you did.
We have. Yes.
It was one of your choices, wasn't it?
I have spoke about this because I absolutely love this movie with a passion. It is honestly, in my opinion, Adrian Brody's best work, and I'm not a big Adrian Brody person. I have spoke about that too.
Yeah, and yet you seem to be like totally for him in your description, though.
For this movie, absolutely. Yeah. He did a very good job. Do not create an entity from different animals' DNAs and human DNA. Really, we won't get Dolly the sheep. We will get, an extremely strong, intelligent psychopath that will change from one sex to another, try to bang its creators, be successful at one point, kind of much like incest, and then try to kill everyone that created it. You have been warned, people, of the present and the future. Watch the movies. They are there for you. Whatever is going to happen will happen. Think about your creation and your godlike complex, and think of what you may create and its evolution. Please, for the love of God. And if you guys don't want to watch that movie because of that description, suck it up. Go watch the movie. Get over yourself.
Interesting. I thought I really had all the factors there.
You did. But you know how some people are. You put the word incest in there, for Christ's sake, people are going to lose their minds. Sorry. Little tangent there. It does. Guys, Splice is a movie that is
awesome.
Yeah, it's an awesome movie. If you guys want to think about the best way possible, literally think of Species.
Yes, it is very Species-like. Yeah, Species for like this generation, I would say.
Yes. And the movie in itself, centered around two doctors, scientists, however you want to call them, created a spliced being that ended up changing its form from a creature to a female human, tried to bang Adrian Brody, think he succeeded, or she succeeded, then
before her transition,
killing him, transitioning to a male, fucking the girl.
As you do.
And kept her alive because of reproduction. Very, very interesting concept, and I really thought with the way it ended that they were going to come out with the second one, but I'm kind of happy they didn't, because then it kind of leaves the mind open to wonder what happened. So, Darkman. And as the description reads, because Darkman is a phenomenal movie for anybody who hasn't seen it, yes, very vague when it comes to the name of the movie, but it's actually a very open name for the movie too. Make it how you will. So, medical technology that is being used for revenge by a scientist that was attacked and left for dead takes it upon himself to get some revenge for being burned alive as you do. One lesson: don't fuck with the intelligent people, especially ones who actually use their brain for God, because there is a thin line, and if you cross them, then you're going to get your shit fucked up. And Sam Raimi shows you this in the movie Darkman, creating a synthetic skin to help with his burned, mangled face. After being subjected to some torture play by some rogue-like criminals, he decides he's not summer ready and has to create some skin. This movie was in 1990, and the use of 3D printing was way in advance, and now we have 3D printing today. And it is a reality, and it's life-changing. And that skin can be produced using a 3D printer. So thank you, Sam Raimi. Absolutely. This scientist was tortured, left for dead, and just like any typical revenge movie, he turns around and he creates something so unique. If you want to put it in a way of horror, think Texas Chainsaw Massacre with an evil genius instead of a guy who loves to play with a chainsaw.
Imagine the scientist as Leatherface. If Leatherface was smart, scientist smart, that would be deadly.
That sounds like a great movie idea and very scary all at the same time. I think we should write in somewhere.
Sorry, if it's in the podcast and someone fucking steals it, don't worry, I'm coming for you.
Yes, we will find you, we will hunt you down, and we will kill you.
And we'll also make it into a horror movie. It will be our project.
Yes, we will make sure we have cameras, lighting, the whole 9 yards. You'll get paid for your time, 6 feet under. He literally creates synthetic skin to basically hide his true self, and Leatherface basically did the same thing, except for it wasn't synthetic skin, it was skin. So the use of a 3D printer to be able to conceal his identity that matches his actual face and body and everything like that, at the end of the day, is genius. And this movie did not get the highest praise that it should have. This movie is a underdog movie that was absolutely phenomenal from the get-go. And I can't think back, and I'm going to look it up while I'm sitting here talking about it, but it did have a decent cast, from what I can remember. I do believe the main character in it was Liam Neeson, correct?
Well, and
Darkman.
Darkman? I don't know. I am drawing a blank.
Okay, I just pulled it up. Yes, Peyton Westlake, Liam Neeson.
Yeah, Francis McDormand, Bruce Campbell. That's how I was getting mixed up, because Bruce Campbell is a mood.
Yes, we have Mr. Chin.
The Chin.
The Crimson Chin. I swear they should literally make a Fairly Odd Parents live action with him as the Crimson Chin.
He just needs to be on TV all the time, forever. Just keep getting him work.
And then we had the lovely, creepy, weird Ted Raimi in this.
Yes, they do have a look, don't they?
And they do. Sam Raimi, Ted Raimi, that is unique to them and well worth it. And
is it Raimi or Rami? I thought it was Raimi.
I think it's depending on how you pronounce it. It's either Rami or Raimi. I always thought it was Rami, but it could be Raimi. I don't. Ted always finds a way to pull at your heartstrings, but at the same time be that creepy guy that sits in a corner and watches everybody.
Yes.
It's just hard to sit there and say, listen, Darkman was such an underrated movie, and it was. It only got a 6.4 out of 10, and quite honestly, it was, I think it deserved a lot more stars than that, to be honest.
Yeah, but this is IMDb. Sometimes they're not accurate, and I don't use
True, but I mean, we also critiquing scores.
Yeah.
So it may not be accurate, but it does say it is out of 68,498 people that have gave it stars, commented, liked, and it's got a 65 Metascore, 15 critics. So that's telling you a lot. And the only one that really anybody ever truly cares about is Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
And let's see if they have Rotten Tomatoes. They do not. So Rotten Tomatoes did not give a critiquing score to this. But the budget was 14 million. Opening weekend it only made 8 million, which is fairly decent. Gross it made 33 million, and worldwide it made 50, or at least close to 50. So it did fairly well for being an underrated movie. So Demon Seed was released in 1977. Gave us the glimpse of smart homes, as cool as they sound, and are becoming more of a reality. Should we be scared if it's run and controlled by Alexa? Yes.
Because I am fucked.
I am fucked. Yeah. So guys, if you guys do not know, Alexa, I think we've actually talked about this in previous episodes, but Alexa does not like Darcy. Alexa does not like her accent. Alexa has a problem with her. It is a daily struggle that, quite honestly, in my opinion, is entertaining. But it's also one of those things too where, in my opinion, you have to, when they create something, I don't care who creates it, whatever, I think they need different departments, or they need more diversity in the creation process, because Alexa, or Amazon rather, is a household name everywhere now, because you can literally buy anything off there. You can buy groceries, buy toys, TVs, music, whatever. I think the diversity within the company needs to have more, I guess the best way to put it, foreign speaking people that do have accents and or speak another language, so they can work out kinks and bugs within these specific products. Because I don't know if you remember back when the Xbox 360 came, they had the Xbox Connect. I don't know if you remember the huge debacle that ended up coming with that.
Because it didn't recognize people with a certain skin tone. Is that what you're talking about?
That's what I'm talking about, yes.
Yeah.
So it's like, in my opinion, it targets certain people, whether it may be of nationality, skin color, whatever it may be, but still, it's not something that should not be allowed, in my opinion. They should have that diverse creative process within a creation process to be able to handle all this. So, going back with the description, she hates Darcy. She gives her shit all the time.
She trolls me.
Because Alexa does struggle with her Scottish accent. And as you can imagine, Darcy gets testy. She does. Gets a little testy.
I shout her, and I retaliate by insult.
Yes. Originally, the AI tech was created to cure leukemia. So, created for good, then goes awry. Ha 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 ha. Didn't see that coming. There's always a challenge and a consequence for creating AI. As it learns, it adapts, it evolves, and yet the creators and scientists on the projects fail to realize this in time before damage is done. And its scientists on the project fail to realize this is in time before the damage is done, and it's as clear as day. Shit, everyone just pay attention, read the room. So an out-of-the-control AI that ends up becoming a bit of a stalker for the scientist's wife, and she becomes his obsession, invades their home, takes control of everything in their home.
Do you like this? Okay, you mentalist?
Yes.
The AI
okay,
is
you mentalist. Yes. The AI is off the rails. No shit.
Mm-hmm.
The tech used in this is similar to Hue lighting, Ring doorbells, smart locking facilities, any technology that can be accessed or controlled, then well, he's coming for. No one will take his woman from him, even though the woman is already taken. Don't trust AI, distance yourself from it, and remember, it's part machine, part intelligent being, or as intelligent as the creator is. God help us all. Amen to that. Because yes, AI is
only as smart as the person who created it.
Yep.
That's it.
And especially with the fact of smart technology, that creation can only get smarter, not dumber, because it's going to update. It's going to learn. We'll take Ultron, for example, from the Marvel movies.
That's a prime example.
Yep. They wanted to create something to help save the world, but come on, let's face it, Ultron did pretty much have a solid point when it came to everything. He wanted to protect the world from us because we're idiots. But at the same time, what was the first thing that he did when he created? He scanned the internet for everything and anything. He adapted, he learned, he realized we're the fuck ups, not the world.
Mm-hmm.
Next on our list, it is a movie that is a culture phenomenon, classic, a movie that's been around for years, and I just have one thing to say. We'll be back. It is, ladies and gentlemen, Terminator. If this movie does not talk about technological advances in the slightest bit, about AI overrunning the world, then I don't exactly know what movie you're watching, but I can guarantee it's probably the Terminator's porn version, not the good version.
The Sperminator?
Yes, the Sperminator. I would read the description of this, but I am hoping. Yeah,
that was not the description.
But I am hoping and praying that anybody who listens to our podcast has seen the Terminator movies, if not just seen the Terminator movie,
and
or
not.
But
or doesn't say Terminator 2 is like like Judgment Day is the first movie. It's the sequel, people.
Yes. And guys, yes, Terminator is the OG. Terminator will always be the kickstart of the series, but let's face it, Terminator 2 was better than its predecessor.
It was
for once a movie got the predecessor right and made the second movie better than the original, and that's saying a lot because you don't get too many movies like that anymore.
But it didn't save us from the monstrosity that is Terminator
or Genesis. But
that's neither here nor there. We're not here for that.
We're here for Terminator. We're here for the movie that started it all.
Yeah.
So, basically, like I already said, AI and robotics can't be mentioned without the classic Terminator movie. Not as big as the sequel, and again, it felt like it was relaunched and a new story took over and became, well, more of a blockbuster hit, paved the way for the Terminator universe, the future of the people versus a different sort of apocalypse where machines turn on their creators, no shit, Sherlock, and come back to take out everybody. They want to destroy them even before they are created. Skynet can happen, and there is such a thing as called Skynet. Look it up, people. There is, just like Resident Evil, there is actually a company called Umbrella.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes. And to be honest, I honestly do believe, if I can remember correctly, when I looked up Umbrella before, it does actually deal with biopharmaceuticals.
And that's what makes it great.
Zombies will happen. That will be the end of the world. I will make a bunker. We will all survive. I have my few select people that I will take down there with me. My son is one of them. We're not going to get into the other conversation. Moving forward, the military in the 80s had some technological advances with drones and radio-controlled unmanned vehicles. These were for practice sessions, but by 2000s, well, as you can imagine, over 20 years later, with the war, after tragedies, that the military would end up using this type of tech for weaponizing drones. As I said, tech for a good reason, created for a good reason, but always ends up getting sold to the highest bidder. tend to turn good to bad real quick.
Yep.
And let's face it, Marvel is another good example for that one too. Look at Iron Man. Stark Industries was making weapons to help the military, but started selling to the enemy. Ta-da! Highest bidder wins.
Yeah, it's been going on forever. On both sides.
Yes. But it was Terminator is one of those series that is strongly for people versus AI, people versus technology, people versus machines. It is one of those things that are just basically part of what we're talking about today, guys. It's a tragedy because, and to think about it this way too, Terminator is about robots who technologically advance themselves to be smart operating beings. There was, I think we've talked about this on an episode before, there was a couple doctors or scientists that have actually created 2 robots. They ended up having to shut the program down because they started communicating between each other. They were advancing. They were starting to talk to each other. They were starting to learn. They had to shut it down because they were afraid. Naturally should be. Anyways, that's my tangent about that. Do you have anything?
No, I have nothing to say because I think I've already said it about the Terminator, because again, it kind of describes what the future of a robotic AI basically could do.
And I don't know if you heard me, but I was talking about the 2 scientists that created 2 robots that actually started. Yeah,
yes, I was there.
That's
not there, but it happened there when you were telling the story.
Yeah.
I'm clarifying that.
Next movie on this list is a movie I've seen a couple times. It's not one of my favorite movies, but I do love it.
Good. Don't you dare.
I said I love it. It's not one of my favorites, but I do love the movie. The concept was brilliant. The writing was brilliant. And the portrayal of everything was brilliant. It's not because of Depp, but the others who acted in it were not that great. That is the one thing that threw me off.
Well, if you haven't seen Transcendence, this is actually, when I think about the actual concept of what Transcendence was, again, it is a good concept, especially if you have a relative that's dying or you want a memory to stay with your child forever when you're no longer there. That's a good thing, but it went a step too far because, again, like we've discussed, AI is not for the dumb. There's no dumb AI. This is going to just keep evolving. And this is that movie shows you, actually, I think it's be a lot more clearer that it shows you the absolutely crazy, fucked up situation that ends up happening in the movie with the, like I said, an AI that combines collective intelligence and human emotions. And basically, you can record loads of stuff for your family so they can always have a piece of you, basically. Like you're still there with them. Good concept, great concept, would help a lot of people with loss and grief. But it's a sci-fi thriller. It was never going to be fluffy, people. No. Don't you agree? It's never supposed to be fluffy. Sorry, I haven't. So this movie has Johnny Depp. He plays a character called Dr. Will, who is incredibly brilliant, was creating an AI that combines collective intelligence with human emotions, so he could basically live forever. Nice concept, no, but with all the positive and good this would do, as I said, people losing loved ones, etc., it could literally have them live on forever. Yes, a good thing. But yet people were against this, and it showed you activism and stuff in the films. What you do get here with technology and pretty much everything people activists against, if it's something they don't believe in or if they think it's something that's incorrect or they think it's going to do the world damage, basically. So Dr. Will, his wife, and his friend, who is played by Paul Bettany, they decide to take it up a notch, and well, things start to go wrong. So when was this taking place? This was taking place in 2021. Again, it wasn't so far in the future when the movie was originally released, so it was more kind of believable, if you know what I mean. Do you understand what I try to get at? It's like they've not went, this happened in 2041 or 2081.
Yeah, I definitely understand.
So the technological advances. The movie is a sci-fi thriller, creepy, weird vibes, and Johnny Depp does a lot of creepy things because he's actually created into the AI as the actual avatar. So it's basically Johnny Depp. He spoke into this AI and stuff, and it says every word like Will, basically. So imagine having that is just, and literally he can show up anywhere in this town because of how they've set it up. So does have a psychological horror vibe because of that weirdness. The aspects of how the AI evolves and how it perceives itself, because I think the AI ends up thinking it's real. Like he is the real person or they are the real person. This movie was also the directorial debut of obviously the director who directs this movie, which I thought was incredible because this movie it's not like a first directorial debut movie. It's usually something really shite. You don't always get a really good movie to start your directorial basically career unless you're like, oh my goodness, which is Ridley Scott or something like that. Do you know what I mean? All his stuff is great, even his early stuff. Same with some directors, like we've said, Wes Craven's first movie ended up banned and stuff. And that was just, again, another random eventful movie. So before I go off on a tangent, it says, so Will becomes his own transcendence. And as you can imagine, shit goes down and his transcendence becomes mentally possessive, out of control. So the program and tech evolves that much in such a short space of time that Dr. Will's transcendence ends up being problematic. Well, duh. We all knew that was coming. Future intelligent humans, please watch these things and don't make these mistakes. Do more tests. Don't make the movies a reality when the story goes awry. Be better. That's your warning from me. And probably you as well. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, I would absolutely agree.
If you're not sure, try another test. That's all I say.
RoboCop.
Which just had a game released as well.
Yes, it did. I've heard.
I haven't. I haven't played it yet.
I've heard some decent things, but I've also heard bad things. So it's a little.
You can't get it for Xbox, though.
Yeah, guys, RoboCop.
I don't know. Did your parents have any crazy, weird things with violence in movies when you were growing up, or is it just me?
No.
Because I said my mum basically did what Phoebe's mum did to her and Friends, and it was RoboCop that was the film that did it. So I hadn't seen the first maybe 30 minutes of that film until I was an adult and was like, what the fuck? Why was this acceptable, mother? For me to watch? It's not.
No, see, growing up, I ended up watching movies like The Sixth Sense, Jaws. My mom, I watched 13 Ghosts with my mom. Jaws, Deep Blue Sea.
Deep Blue Sea's epic.
Violence in movies, not a big deal. I never had that issue. So, RoboCop.
It's terrible at this start. Oh, it's really, really horrific.
It is. The beginning of the movie is absolutely, and not in a it's trash kind of way. It's just horrible in a way that it's violent, very depictive and descriptive of it. So, but again, sci-fi. But the original is very horrific in violence. As Darcy said, her mom let her watch the start of the movie. So, moving on from that.
Yeah.
If you don't know, it's a dystopian. It starts in dystopian Detroit, which basically Detroit, yes, from the memes and media, they are already there. So, police officer is fucked up at a crime scene, torture and death, and a whole lot of injuries. Yes, at death's door. They take it upon themselves to bring him back by making him part cyborg, feeding him baby food, making him creepy. His face looks like it's stretched onto a
ball badly, basically.
Yes,
it does.
Ball badly. RoboCop is plagued by memories of his hurts, like his brain, etc. He ends up being judge, jury, and executioner. And is very dark, and shit is going to go down if the RoboCop is on it.
Like a car bonnet.
Would cyborgs be better than regular law enforcement? Would it be an improvement? RoboCop, before they settled on how he would look and what he could do, his abilities, they went through different cyborg enhancements, and a few went awry. No shit. And also, when you think about it, anyone who had a brain for tech could easily hack into him. Come on, there is that downfall and negative side to technology. Even though it is for good reason, there's always someone out there willing to show you the dark and ugly side of technology and show what could happen in the wrong hands, making it a terrible idea when they get intelligence.
They get the intelligence of their own and drive to become
drive to come after the creators. This can happen, and in RoboCop, you see the difference in how the cyborg creations and adaptations were and how they got where they were in the movie to recreate the police officer injured on duty doing his job. He wrote duty.
Yes, you laugh at that, but you said you just can't take the RoboCop description. My God.
I never said I couldn't take the RoboCop description. I said I'd never be able to look at the cover of RoboCop the same way again.
Yes, I'm looking at the VHS one. You know, the one in the cardboard one. That was because that used to get terrible, obviously, in and out, taking the VHS in and out. So therefore, it ended up fucked up. So you can't look at it in the same way. But you're welcome. I gave you a great image. Now that will stay in your brain rent free forever.
Forever.
Exactly.
We are forgetting the bigger picture, the evolution of technology and film to make these movies become a reality and to bring us new ways of viewing our with the leaps in sound of special effects and strategies from physically building the effects to creating them with a keystroke. Visual special effects have become a reality where they are real, from the explosion in action movies to alien races, apocalypse worlds, and bringing fantasy fiction to life. Technology has evolved to bring us these visualizations and make us see things more clearly. And this also surges our own imagination and lets us be creative. You never know what ideas, movies can do to someone and what they may create and what cinema will be like by giving us the tools so that we can bring our own visions and dreams a reality to the big screen. What type of technological advances we'll have in a cinematic universe that is film? What will it be like in the future? Will we go back to tried and tested builds, or will it be green screen and advanced computer generated AI? Who knows? If anything, we know from the strikes that humans aren't happy with their likeliness being created and used without being paid for. So for the future, AI and its creators will have to think hard on what they want to accomplish, and if it's doable, who knows? Technology has its place, but it can also be misplaced into the wrong hands. And that is where the imagination of writers come in, giving us what we may already be thinking, yet not vocalizing, to show that, yes, we are subliminally listening to reactions, creating things based on the human mind. So, machine versus the people of Earth and beyond, what do you think we expect in the future? Do you think the world will end up hating the creators of AI? Will they take it a step too far? Will we end up loving them and making them our trusted leader and spokespeople for Earth? Will they become monsters like some of the monsters discussed on this podcast? Will someone else be worse than the OG AI creators? Will they recreate their AI in their own image, OG AI creator, for every generation? God help us all. Are we giving them too many ideas? What technological advances would you like to see horror, sci-fi, fantasy, tech? Guys, we would love to hear your feedback on some of these. We would definitely love to know what you guys think about these things.
Yes, we would like to know what we think. And is there any other technological advances that you think we may have glossed over? Is there maybe another episode you'd like on this that goes into, again, maybe a sub-genre type of description of this? Then please let us know.
What have we learned today?
Not to trust technology. And also the people that create technology.
I was going to say mainly more the people who create it over the technology itself.
Don't trust those people. Do not. They will destroy you or your future or everything.
Don't create things without a proper testing strategy. Don't release advances in proper alpha, beta, zeta, even testing strategy.
Exactly.
Get all the kinks and errors resolved.
Mm-hmm.
If it sounds too good to be true, then it usually is. Absolutely. Yep. This is where we want your input. We would love future lists to help stop or prevent the machines from rising up if that were ever to come to be, and to help us puny humans becoming slaves to them. Treat your AI and robotics fairly, or they will remember and make you pay.
Yes, even me with Alexa.
Yep. And that's true to a lot of things. Even though it's not necessarily like a technological advancement, it still sort of is. Have you ever seen the movie Snowden?
Is that the one about, the guy who stays in Russia now?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Not necessarily a technological advancement, but it is at the same time. Edward Snowden, for anybody who doesn't know, that was a big thing back in the 2000s. He basically was a whistleblower to the CIA. He basically came out and said that the government was listening to your calls, watching you through your own webcams.
See, if people didn't realize that, then they're just dumb, because again, everybody who's into tech covers up like the camera on the laptop and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I mean, I have my grandmother's, my grandpa and my grandma, they put tape over their cameras. They've done that for years. They still do it to this day, even though, everything. It's an advancement into this world that a lot of people don't realize, that the control over anything electronic is a higher possibility now than it has been years ago. The fact that the government...
It was really quick, from like going from a smartphone to like the camera phones, video phones, and all the stuff that's available now. Because when I was younger, a teenager, I didn't have a phone until I was like 14, 15. It was only because, my brother used to get new phones and you'd get the old one. But I didn't have my own phone until I was in my 20s, and even then it wasn't like a proper smartphone. You know what I mean? So it has technological advances since the first like camera phone and then video phone. Folks still didn't believe it was going to come out with a video phone, and it did.
Yeah.
And where we are now. So it's not that so taboo as we call it. Again, it's not like it could happen. We're not really technologically advanced to the point where, some of the movies that we're watching with the future stuff, but 20 years time, 30 years time, we don't know what the fuck's going to have been created or, what's in the works right now.
Yeah, and I mean, just the fact of, the two scientists that created two robots that actually started talking to each other, started learning from each other, that right there was beyond power that we really even should have thought of at this point. But the good thing is they realized their mistakes real quick and shut down that program.
At least they had the common decency, intelligence to do that. If that was anybody else, what the fuck would have happened? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know if we have any facts, because we did talk about some facts with the movies themselves, because they were based, like, some people have got obviously ideas from these movies to create these things. So we don't actually have very many facts, because we actually put the facts in while we were talking about each movie anyway and the technological advances. So the facts we already have.
Yes.
So like we said, if you want us to do more about technological advances in horror and sci-fi and fantasy, or maybe we could go down that route with books, where the originality of the ideas actually come from, or the graphic novels, or whatever, based in the genre that we love, then please put it in the comments, whether it's over on YouTube or over on our Instagram or on Twitter. You can come check us out there. Every week I put in all our own social media platforms that we use for the both of us and for the channel, and you can find out more about us on there.
Yep. And you can find me on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch, all by Lunar X Rising. It's all the same name. You can easily find me.
There'll also be a link in the description below taking you directly to your social media.
Yep. Guys.
But that's us for the
That is us.
Part.
This is the end of the second part. Absolutely. You guys like this episode, please comment, like, and share. If you guys have any, and follow. And if you guys have any
suggestions
for future episodes, and or our final episode that we're going to do, we're going to touch on stuff that maybe we have missed for the 4-part series, and we're just going to touch on things.
Yes,
But
and again, if there is anything you think we've missed, then we will probably discuss it in the discussion with the roundup at the end.
Absolutely. Until next time, guys, I'm Lunar Rising.
And I'm Darcy Darkness. Later.
Later.